are a force to be reckoned with.
So I want to, get into the topic of Halloween. There are dangers of Halloween. A lot of people celebrate it and they even say it's harmless. I don't do any of that dark stuff. I just want to enjoy, celebrating with my kids, and we go door to door for candy. We don't, make it a demonic holiday, but there are some real dangers that, people do all the time, even saying trick or treat. There, people need to know where that stuff comes from. And I know you're going to get into this today because it is a hell of a holiday, as you say. And so where is there a balance? Is there a way to celebrate, the harvest and the feast with your family without going into the rituals of, the things that we think are okay to celebrate in Halloween? I want you guys to dive into this because a lot of people do it and they think it's okay. So I'm not a part of the devil. I don't celebrate the devil. I just want to, have a nice fall feast with my kids and have them dress up and hand out candy and some of the stuff they need to be aware of and where it came from and where it originated from. So tell us.
Yeah, well, thank you, Julie. It is important. I found the people that are most defensive of Halloween are those that know least about it. I want to start by saying that God is a celebratory God. He actually commanded the redeemed community to celebrate his feasts, and they were elaborate feasts. That's Passover, Pentecost, and Tabernacles, the great feast, which we've just come through. But by the way, for those that are thinking they're not Jewish and so it's not a factor, it has nothing to do with being Jewish. The Jews were given the feast of the Lord, but they were called from the beginning the feast of the Lord, not the feast of the Jews. And even in Zechariah, the entire world in the days where Christ rules and reigns from Jerusalem with the righteous, that's the seed of Abraham, Jew and Gentile alike. But even back then, the entire world is commanded to come to Jerusalem to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. And the Bible says, and if you don't, the Lord will smite your land with famine. That is in the millennial reign of Christ, believe it or not. So A, God's a celebratory God. B, we should be celebrating his festivals, one of which is in the fall of the great feast. But if you want to understand the history of what I call the great American religious enterprise, what you have to do is see what the wicked one did through organized religion. The thing that is most obvious is the eclipsing of the great feast of the fall, the Feast of Tabernacles, with a celebration that its original name was Hallow Soin. Hallow is a word for worship. Hallowed be thy name. Soin is where we get our English word Samhain, the dread Lord of Death, the god of the underworld. So for any Christian to say, hey, we're going to hallow Soin in a good and happy way, it's like, no, you're not. Any participation of something that is dedicated to evil is itself evil. Now, here's the power of something that is dedicated to evil. This comes from the book of Judges, and it's where Israel's going in to the promised land. And if you're going to understand that at all, you have to understand the Nephilim tribes and the offspring of the fallen ones that were in the promised land. And those are the towns and cities that God said, destroy them completely, destroy everything that breathes, don't touch anything, and don't keep anything for yourselves. The other towns, which were just mere sinful mortals, they just overcame the towns, but they didn't kill any of the animals. They certainly didn't kill the wives or children or anybody that they didn't have to. It was just a normal battle. Now, the reason I told you all that is because Jericho was the first occult stronghold that the Israelites encountered in the Promised Land. And because it was an occult stronghold, God said, don't keep anything from this evil place. We all know the story of Ai. We know the story that Achan took some silver. And I don't have time to talk about the significance of that, but it's very significant in terms of a betrayal price. And then he took a warlock's robe, a Babylonish garment. Remember, Babylon was the seat of witchcraft at the time, and he took the robe of this Egyptian occult practitioner, and he hid them. Why did he hide them? Because God had specifically said, "Do not touch anything from that evil place, and do not take anything out of the city, burn it all." But because he brought it back in, the Israelites were defeated by a small force the next day. That's the force of the armies of Ai. It should have been an absolute rout, but the Israelites were defeated. Now, when Joshua fell on his face before God and was crying, "Why have you dishonored us?" God said, "You get up off your face and quit acting that way. I told you not to touch anything that was dedicated to evil." And somebody has taken a robe and some silver and hid it under their tent. And he said, Israel will never overcome an enemy again until you found that and got it out of the camp. Now, that is an amazing story, Julie.
Yeah.
And they camped in the valley of Ai, and Moses brought all 6 million people in front of him and said, somebody has taken something that is dedicated to evil. We call it a fetish, and we can't do anything until we find out how who took it. And then finally, God showed him that Achan had taken it. They stoned Achan and his family and burnt them along with the fetish objects. And then the curse was lifted off of the camp. Now, you tell me that God is going to take that kind of pain to purge evil out of a camp of 6 million people, and he doesn't care that you're dressing in costumes of the dead and have skeletons in your yard and are by the way, everything done on Halloween is a druid a ritual. Yeah, for bobbing for apples and the jack of the lantern and
Yeah.
treat, the scarecrow and the straw man.
Tell them one or two of them. Why are they? What are they?
Well, so Samhain was the dread lord of the dead, worshipped by the druids, and so the 31st is because of lots of factors we don't have time to talk about, but the 31st of October and May 1st are the two darkest days of the year. And so, they're very significant in the occult calendar. That's where we get May Day. Even our military, right? They say May Day, the place is on fire. That originally came from a ship burning at sea. But anyway, the May Day celebrations, the Halloween celebrations, very, very dark. Now, the Druids, they would do massive human sacrifices on Halloween. They still do it. I used to be the chaplain of our local fire department. We have to double staff on Halloween. The police department double staffs. The emergency ward double staff because of the propensity of evil that happens that night. But there's many human sacrifices, and so the Druids would go and they would snatch human sacrifices. They would tie them in the Burning Man, which, you know, now there's Burning Man celebrations in different parts of America. But they would tie them in the Wicker Man, the Straw Man, or the Burning Man, and then they would light the Burning Man on fire, and they would all be burnt as oblations to Samhain, the dread Lord of Death. Now, if they came looking for a human sacrifice, which preferably would be a young male or a young female, but if you didn't want your babies to be burnt in fire in the straw man, you had to leave a gift for them. And if it wasn't sufficient when they came, the trick or treat is like, that's not sufficient. We want your daughter. So people would put out the jacks of the lanterns. The whole idea is they would carve a face and they would call the spirits of the dead to come inhabit the pumpkins and to try to scare away the Druids, to try to protect their home. So they'd try to surround it with the spirits of the dead. Of course, conjuring the spirits of the dead is strictly forbidden in Scripture. But if the sacrifice or the offering or the treat wasn't enough, they would just storm in and take the children, or maybe the husband, whoever was available, and they would take them for the Burning Man sacrifice. Now, everybody thinks it's fun to bob for apples, but and this is just a demented evil. It only can come from the mind of the destroyer. But if say your daughter, your 14-year-old daughter, was taken as a sacrifice to Samhain, and you appealed and say, well, we'll let her bob for apples. They would take apples and put them in cauldrons of boiling oil and tie her hands behind her back. And she would have to try to get an apple out of boiling oil with her mouth in order to save her life. Now, most people who tried that died in the process. But if they lived, their face would be melted off. And that is where the tradition of the ghoul comes from, of a melted face. And, you know, people would be, if they survived the bobbing for apples, they were ghouls, and they were outcasts from the community, and they were blind and their faces were melted. And anyway, it's very, very ugly. And so that's why, you know, again, I didn't always know this, Julie, and I'm not trying to be mean-spirited for people who don't, but if you do know that and you participate in it, you'll have to answer to the Lord for it, because there is nothing, I repeat, nothing redemptive about Halloween. The name of the holiday is Worship Samhain. And by the way, I did make a little brochure called Halloween Hell of a Holiday, and you can get that. We give them away free because we want people to know about it. But in there, it has quotes from Anton LaVey, and he mocks the Christian church in the West, and he says at least the Christians celebrate Satan with us one day a year on Halloween.
Incredible.
And yeah, it's
Is this uploaded on our website?
yeah.
You say, where is this available? It's on your website. If they want to print this out, or, you know,
yeah, they can
review
get
it.
Yep.
Yep, I do believe they can go to the website. And
So Halloween is part of Samhain's name. Halloween, Sam.
So yeah, the way the English Druids, we say Samhain, they said Samhain.
Samhain. Ooh,
Samhain. So Hallow
Samhain.
Samhain.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow, and this is a ritual way back a couple thousands of years, and it's just been carried on.
And
Yeah.
look at what's happening. Halloween merchandise has gone up like clear way far, even above Christmas, which people can excuse, right? All of the Christmas stuff, at least it's not skeletons and creepy things.
And witches, right?
and all that.
Goblins,
Oh, yeah.
people with melted faces.
Well, putting gravestones in your yard and all of that. But now there's even Christians that majorly decorate their yards with Halloween stuff. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it looks like a cemetery in some people's front yards.
Yep.
My people
Yep.
perish for lack of knowledge.
Yep.
They don't understand.
Mhm.
And it happens in so many directions. But celebrating death, the Bible says, all those who hate me love death.
Right.
And so to me, I'm like, run the other direction. Don't do that. Take somebody out to dinner. Shut your house down. Let your house be dark. Don't be handing out candy. Do none of it. Just stay away from it and take your daughter to a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, just do something fun
Rem-
and get out of your house, and don't be a part of celebrating
Evil.
death.
Yeah.
You know,
Remember,
I've
the
talked to-
Bible still says, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them, hating even the garments that have been defiled by sin.
So you said Anton LaVey, he's the founder of the Church of Satan, said
Yeah.
at least Christians are celebrating us once a year. I mean,
Right.
whoa. The founder of the Church of Satan is saying that.
Right.
And I've
Right.
even heard witches who've been delivered and are now Christians have said
Yeah.
Christians have no idea what they are celebrating on
No idea.
October 31st. No idea.
Yeah.
And
So
this
true.
all seems innocent to us. But how would you encourage families who are hearing this and like, what? I love celebrating, even if you don't call it Halloween, all the
Well,
harvest and the feasts and the fall festivals. What are some safe ways we can have our own, fall feast?
Well, okay. So, everybody likes fun and fellowship.
Hmm.
The idea is to do it apart from evil. And so you can get together with families, you can have fun game nights, you can have a church game night, but don't bring witches and evil spirits into it. And jack-o'-lantern, you can bring pumpkins, God made those. Jack-o'-lanterns are the medieval Ouija boards. They were put on the porch to welcome evil spirits, to bid them to come. And so that's my feeling is do something in place of that's better than, but don't contaminate it with bones and skeletons and a celebration of death. We should be celebrating resurrection life, not death.
Yeah.
And
I think
game nights and movies, and there's lots of ways to have fun.
I think it's a better plan to have a game night and movie night, a different night, and just disassociate with Halloween completely, because it's an evil holiday, and just teach your kids, this is not what we do. There's harvest, there's Feast of Trumpets, all those things. You can pick any night and just say, as a church or as a community, we're going to do this. We're not going to do that. So I think it's a simple thing to decide, I'm not a part of that. I'm just not going to be a part of that. We don't do a harvest party or anything. We did back in the day when we didn't know better. When we took Deborah Joy into our house, she said, how can you guys be any part of that at all? It's evil at every level. And we're like, you know what? You're right. And here we are trying to make something good out of an evil thing and celebrate somehow in a good way. Dress up like a cowboy,
a Christian witch.
A cowboy. Yeah. Dress up like cowboys and Indians. We're going to have a harvest festival. And Deborah Joy was horrified. She just said, I can't even believe you guys can't see past this. And you still try to gather together on that night. You're still celebrating that it is Halloween, whether or not you're doing it as a cowboy harvest thing, you're celebrating Halloween. So to me, I would say disassociate completely with the 31st. Have a prayer meeting at your house. Pray for the people that are lost, but don't get involved in that night being a celebration of something that everyone out there knows you're trying to make a difference in the Halloween thing. I wouldn't do it.